Cozy Here With You by miloqu. Chapter 3. It's Okay, Bro. Third person's point of view. Katsuki walked down the hallway, holding his notebook in his left hand and his right hand on his chest. His heart pounded like light. His face was flushed like a red strawberry. Only Kirishima can touch me, ran through his head. Before he could control himself, he moved his thoughts back to walking to the dining hall. He turned down and fell, his notebook flying across the floor. He grunted and looked up to see Denki, mockingly staring at him with a raised eyebrow. She really has your head for a tryst, hasn't she? Denki mocked, and then he noticed his open notebook. Dude, you dropped this. He knelt down to pick up the notebook and noticed scribbles and doodles of one of their classmates, and it was clear who it was. Bro. He looked up at Katsuki, who was climbing to his feet. Why is Kirishima doodled all over your notebook? Katsuki's eyes widened and his heart pounded. I was drawing Eijiro. He became dizzy and his cheeks flushed, his mind unable to keep up with a single thought. I don't. He stuttered. Katsuki never stutters. What are you doing to me, Eijiro? He thought as he placed his sleeve down on his hand and covered his face. You don't like Tetsu, do you? Denki gulped, looking at Katsuki's face. You like Kirishima. They walked down the hallway, Katsuki hugging onto his notebook, trying to ignore Denki's questions. When did you know? Have you told your parents? Do you plan on coming out? Do you plan on telling Kirishima you like men? Do you plan on telling Kirishima you like him? Do you plan on telling anyone? Are you gay, pan, bi, omi? What is your sexuality? He went on and on with the questions about Katsuki's sexuality and feelings for Eijiro. Damn it, Pikachu, shut up! Katsuki yelled, wanting the questions to stop. I wasn't even ready to tell you I like someone. Why do you think I would be okay answering all these questions about my sexuality? He yelled, embarrassed, scared, and confused. He didn't even have an answer for them all himself. Fine, can you at least tell me your sexuality or your feelings about Kirishima? Denki pleaded with Katsuki, annoyed with the blonde more and more. Fine, if you damn well shut up, he scoffed. He took a deep breath and thought about Eijiro's hands and how they were in his. I don't know how to explain my feelings for Eijiro, Sasuke said, sort of quietly. Oh my god, Eijiro, you're on first name basics with him? Denki said in a mocking tone. Katsuki's face lit up with a gentle red tone again. No, he yelled, trying not to stumble on his words. And for my sexuality. He went silent for a few seconds and shrugged, feeling Denki's eyes at him, burning into his skin. I've never liked a girl. Katsuki shrugged. Denki nodded and smiled at him. Don't worry about it, dude. I'll be your wingman. He grinned and put a thumbs up, laughing slightly. Katsuki didn't want to be, but he couldn't help it, so he nodded and smiled. Thanks. Kiri, bro, Denki said as he sat down at the booth with his food next to Mina. Eijiro didn't make any noise. He was just strolling around his food on his plate and staring at it. Kirishima? Denki repeated. Katsuki, hearing Denki repeat Eijiro's name, sent a spike of jealousy through his spine, making him growl slightly. Denki saw Katsuki's angry reaction, saw him trying to keep it down. He shoved his food in his mouth and shut up, realizing Katsuki's jealous. Is it that obvious I'm jealous? Katsuki thought to himself. And why am I jealous? He just said his name. He gulped and began eating his food, trying to keep his eyes off Eijiro and onto the plate in front of him. Eijiro, Katsuki thought to himself, his face going red as the positions of last night and yesterday when they held each other. The way Eijiro's hands felt intertwined with his ran through his mind. Thinking about Tetsu? Mineta teased, trying to stand on his tippy toes to see above the table. Eijiro's eyes looked over at Mineta. He couldn't help but yell, What? Ochaka sat on the sofa, eyes half closed, sucking up her noodles. Yuraka, you alright? Izuku asked, putting down his spoon and looking over at Uchaka. Yeah, Deku, I'm fine. I'm just feeling a little sick. She smiled at Izuku, telling the green-haired boy not to worry about her. Izuku grabbed her hand and smiled back at her, hoping for her to feel better. Want me to get you something to drink? He asked, pulling her slightly closer to him. Ochaka's face grew red as she felt Izuku's hand against her head. You've got a temperature, he frowned. Should I take you to Recovery Girl? I'm fine, Deku. She tried to keep herself from freaking out. So close, she thought to herself. No, you're not. Come with me. He smiled and grabbed her hands, leaving the food on the table and led them away from the lunch hall into the nurses. Ochako blushed as she felt her hands in his. Her heart raced as they walked forwards. She tried to quicken her pace so he wasn't dragging her, but she was walking beside him holding hands. He looked at her, his cheeks flushed and his heart racing. Ochaka's eyes widened slightly as she saw him. His mouth slightly open, his teeth pushed together, and his eyes looking at her kindly and softly. His cheeks red. Deku? End of chapter 3.